This is dollar yen 4-hour chart, August 3rd, 2025. We're opening with a small gap to the downside, extending Friday's plunge. There's an old adage in trading, up like an escalator, down like an elevator. And it certainly proved true in dollar yen, which failed here, almost at 151, and closed below 147.50. Now, looking at the chart, it's like having an earthquake and the next day seeing if there's any aftershocks. Whatever the case, I'm going to use my Amazing Trader charting algo to point out the key levels and what side's at risk. Pretty clear here, the downside's at risk, but as long as we stay below this 148.51 level, which broke the upward momentum, this is your key level on your chart. 148 is obviously a psychological level. You've got former supports at 147.50 to 80 as potential resistance. But the point is, unless we go back above 148.51, the risk is going to be tilted to the downside. So now we look to see what the chart shows. It shows 146.80, 146.34, and 145.85. As long as we stay below at least this 147.51 level. And if you would drill down, so the daily chart, you would have seen 145.85 is a double bottom, and below it there's a big void on the downside. So that's your key support, is right over here. You got some supports here and here. Here is your start of your resistance level, but this is your key level up here. The 148 is probably equally as important in keeping the risk pointed to the downside. Now, one thing about dollar yen, remember, it's very sensitive to U.S. interest rates, and with bond yields plunging on Friday, and the risk of a Fed rate cut in September rising significantly, that is putting pressure on dollar yen and suggesting at least a top in this currency, and we'll see where the bottom plays out. Now remember, this week is a light data week for the U.S. There's ISM services, PMI, meaning there's very little to change the outlook on the Fed, and concerns over the labor market and potential for a weakening economy, even though the data is questionable and all we have to go for. So here is where you could find more updates from us at www.global-view.com. You see the analysis in dollar yen. You keep an eye on the bond yields in the U.S. once U.S. opens to give you a clue, given its sensitivity to interest rates. Once again, unless we get back at least above here at 148, the risk is on the downside, and only above 148.51 will negate a risk to at least 145.85.